Hey everybody, this is Walt,
This is Max.
and you're listening to our podcast on dystopian cinema.
We are Useless Info Inc., and we call this The Future Sucks because, obviously.
The future sucks.
And today we are doing Rollerball, the original, mind you, from 1975, directed by Norman Jewison. And that Toccata Fugue in D minor by Bach can only mean one thing, right? Okay, so let's summarize this thing.
Absolutely.
The movie's structured around 3 games, right?
3 games.
The first game is Houston versus Madrid, right?
Right.
And we meet Jonathan E., the captain of the Houston team.
Do we know what the E stands for?
We never find out.
We never find out.
So we don't know if, well, we know that Mr. Bartholomew has a full last name.
Right.
But we don't know if, like, the workers just get, like, an initial.
Right.
They don't get, like, a full last name because
Right.
they're not.
Or a nickname, like his buddy, Moon Pie.
Moon Pie, yeah. Where'd that come from? So Houston wins this game 3-1.
3-1.
Right. And then we meet Mr. Bartholomew, head of the Energy Corporation, because the world is owned by 6 major corporations.
Was it 6? I thought it was like 3.
I think it's 6. So I counted energy,
Right.
transportation,
Right.
food, luxury, housing, and communication.
There you go. Okay.
Yeah.
I missed the other 3 then.
Yeah. So they basically own the entire world. There's no more nations, nothing. It's
It's like
just
Disney.
yeah. It's well, yeah. We're gonna get into that. How prescient this movie was in 1975.
Also, Mr. Bartholomew is played by John Houseman.
John Houseman.
John
Yes.
Houseman.
Yeah. Classic guy.
That
So
voice.
yeah, perfect. So he meets with Mr. Bartholomew, and Mr. Bartholomew tells him that it's time for him to retire.
Right.
Yeah.
They're going to throw a big special and the whole thing, and he's supposed to announce it at this
Yeah,
event.
there's
this
good
function.
news and bad news.
Right.
Good news is you're the player of the year. Bad news is you're retiring.
Right.
And then we learn a little bit about this world. We learn about the social purpose of the game. We learn that nations have become bankrupt. Corporate society takes care of everyone, and they only ask that people not interfere with management decisions.
Period.
Exactly. In fact, the corporation Energy took away Jonathan's wife.
Because another executive wanted
Executive
her.
wanted her, yeah.
Which is wild.
Yeah.
It's almost like, once again, the Soylent Green kind of factor.
Yeah.
They're like furniture.
Yeah, we learn a little bit about the world here. So Jonathan goes back to his ranch, because of course he owns a ranch.
Right.
We meet his current mistress, Maggie, right?
Right.
And she's been asked to leave. So then he's kind of curious about this whole, like, why is he being asked to retire?
Why is he
He's-
being forced out?
And he starts sort of thinking about, what is all this about? Like, what is the game about? How do I fit into this?
He finally starts questioning his own existence and place in society.
Yep. So he goes to the library, but he
Right.
can't get the books he wants.
Right.
Yeah, because have they, like, Fahrenheit 451 and everything or something?
Yeah,
Like-
exactly. A touch of that, for real.
Exactly, right?
And Moon Pie actually says to me, he says, what
Like-
do you need books for?
Yeah. Yeah, not that I've never heard that in my life. And he watches videos of his former wife, Ella, right?
Right.
Played by Maud Adams. So obviously he's still got a thing there. When
On
it's-
those giant wall screen TVs.
what do they call it? Trivision or something?
Trivision,
Is
yeah.
it called Trivision?
I believe so.
It's like a big screen and 3 little
and 3
screens?
little screens on
Yeah.
top, yeah.
Yeah, that's not prescient at all. And so then he gets a new mistress, Daphne.
Right.
Because you just get a new one. They
Right.
just sub one out. They sub a new one over.
Who's also a TV show host, right? That's the woman that interviews him at that one point.
Does
She's high.
Does she interview him?
I thought that was her.
I
Because then he
thought-
grabs her by the hand and
Yeah.
takes her off stage.
He slips her an aphrodisiac.
That's what it is, right?
I thought she was just there while he was kind of watching the reel that they were.
Yeah, it was some sort of interview that he botched. He didn't
It
want
was
to do it.
something like that,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Geez, you wouldn't think we watched the movie.
So there's a new game coming up, Houston versus Tokyo.
Right.
Now the rules have changed a little bit. No more penalties
Yeah, yeah.
and limited substitutions.
limited substitutions.
Just to get more people to watch the game.
And also to kind of force him out, finally. Or kill him off.
That's where this is going.
Yeah.
Yeah, it gets more and more dangerous. Then we watch this sizzle reel put together, his greatest hits, which is mostly him beating the hell out of people.
Kicking
right?
everybody's ass.
And we find out that the most deaths in a single game is 9.
9.
Yeah.
That's surprising. You would think it was more.
I think 9's already pretty bad. if you ask me. And this is before they started changing the rules.
Right,
That's the
that's
thing,
right.
And the most players taken out by a single player is 13.
13.
Of course, by Jonathan.
Jonathan
Because
E.
he is the badass. So the guys get together for a training session. They ignore it. They're like, whatever, we can take Tokyo.
Yeah, they actually berate the guy that's
They
trying
shout
to get
him
them
down.
to give them points on how the players are going to perform during the game.
Exactly, yeah.
Their moves and this and that and their technique. Mm-hmm. And they completely blow them off.
They're like,
berate them.
fuck this.
Yeah.
So Jonathan talks to Mr. Bartholomew again. He doesn't want to quit. He wants to play in Tokyo. And he wants to see his wife as a concession, but Bartholomew's like, no, that's not going to work. And he says an interesting line, the game is bigger than one man.
Right.
Wonder where this is leading.
Right, right.
Daphne turns out to be a spy.
Yep.
his mistress.
Yeah.
Okay, like we didn't see that coming. Then in the Tokyo game, again, no penalties, no substitutions. Moon Pie gets taken out by 3 guys.
Yeah.
I mean, they attack him. They beat him in the back of the head.
Yeah. It's
And
pretty
he-
much brain dead
Yeah.
after that. Vegetable.
And Jonathan and another guy, they take out a Tokyo man in revenge.
Yeah.
It's becoming like a gladiatorial arena now.
Yeah.
The whole thing is changing. The spectators even come on the field.
Right.
One guy gets beaten up, right?
Yeah, yeah, yep.
Yeah.
It's bedlam.
You thought hockey was fierce.
It's nothing.
So Moon Pie's brain dead.
And he refuses to pull the plug.
He won't pull the plug on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The doctor says, and the doctor's played by the actor who's also in the Pink Panther movies.
Oh,
Played
really?
Kato. Yeah, he played Kato in the Pink Panther movies.
Was that guy named Kato?
Yeah, it was Kato.
Oh, wow. Okay. Kato's a green...
Green Hornet's
Green Hornet,
sidekick.
so it's the same name.
That was Bruce. I believe it's
Okay,
Kato.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Kato. Sound familiar?
Yeah. So then there's a video conference between the owners of the corporations, and Bartholomew has an interesting line. The game is created to demonstrate the futility of individual effort.
Says a lot, right?
And all agree that Jonathan must lose. So Jonathan goes to Geneva to track down the central computer called Zero. right?
Zero.
The world's brain.
Which is a great name for the world's brain computer, Zero.
Zero says corporate decisions control everything. Like we didn't know that.
Right.
Okay. So Ella, Maud Adams, comes back.
His
and-
wife.
His wife, his former wife, yeah. And they have a little conversation, but it's not going to go anywhere.
Right.
And Jonathan finally erases the videotapes of her.
Right, yeah.
And
Letting
he's-
go finally.
Exactly. He's going to the last game, Houston versus New York.
And he doesn't take the helicopter.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, because he figured he could be taken out easier that
Yeah,
way.
yeah. No substitutions, no penalties, and no time limit.
No time limit.
Yeah. So this is the last game, and this is just a slaughterhouse, right?
It is.
No one even cares about the ball. They're just
Yeah, exactly.
attacking each other.
They're just beating the hell out of each other.
It comes down to Jonathan and 2 other players,
The
right?
biker,
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like
and
a
one
biker,
other
another
player.
guy.
Yeah.
And he takes him out
brutally.
brutally, and he's the last guy standing. He scores the only goal,
only goal.
in the game.
Yep.
Yeah. Just pops that ball in the
He does it
the
right in
ring.
front of Mr.
Yeah.
Bartholomew's face.
Yeah.
Who's sitting right behind the goal.
Yeah.
And he almost smashes that last player with the ball. Almost
Yes,
smashes
but
his
he
face and
reconsiders it,
stops.
right?
Yeah.
And he stops.
Stops himself.
It's almost like the gladiator thing,
Yeah.
like thumbs up or thumbs down.
Right.
So a lot going on here.
Oh, yeah.
Interesting, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, all right, so let's start cracking into this thing. So, what is the purpose of the game?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
I mean, I take it as it's almost like to keep the public docile.
You're going with the bread and circus thing.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would go with that.
Like everybody, it seems like everyone's kind of a worker, and they've got to just sort of they're a cog in the machine.
Exactly.
They've got to work for these big corporations.
Right.
And to keep them docile and not questioning society and everything, they're given this game.
Right.
Yeah.
This
As a- as a-
ultra-violent sport.
As a thing, and also a thing that binds them, social cohesion.
Right.
Because if you don't have like a country to be patriotic to or whatever, you're not going to feel that kind of allegiance to a corporation. Like, why would you?
Right.
But if you have this game, this sort of combat thing that you can like wrap your head around and commit yourself to, that kind of brings people together.
Because it doesn't seem like there's any other forms of entertainment besides rollerball.
It does, yeah. I mean, there must be something on those TVs.
Right, right. It seems
But-
like just clips of rollerball and photo album types, whole movies
Yeah.
is what we see
well,
mostly.
you can go out and shoot trees with,
With a laser
incendiary
gun.
weapons.
See, that was great too because all those bored rich people,
Yeah.
they're all tuned up by rollerball.
Yeah.
They get that laser gun and go out and start shooting trees.
They're almost shooting each other by
Yeah,
the
right.
end. Yeah.
That was a great scene. They keep flashing back to
Yeah.
Jonathan E. talking to Mr. Bartholomew while
Exactly.
they're out there blowing shit up.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. Yeah, that seems to be the primary purpose. Oh yeah, here we go. This is the music from the party scene, right?
Right, future dancing with the weird future dancing once again. Where they touch palms and foreheads and just kind of sway slowly back and forth.
And that turns into a full-on like swingers scene, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Moon Pie is like with some chick, like, hey, let's go upstairs.
Yeah, he had 2 girls before that.
Yeah.
Then some other woman that he says, "Oh, do you like poetry?" and takes her upstairs. I got a poem for you. It's a great line.
Gotta use that line. So there's another concept about the game that Bartholomew brings in. I don't know if he directly says this or if it's just I'm paraphrasing, but the individual is not as important as the group, and the game is designed to demonstrate that.
Right.
Because obviously, if you got a corporation, you need all these individuals to come together and kind of do their thing, again, cogs in the machine, to keep this corporation running.
Right.
You don't want anybody to kind of stand up and be ahead of the herd. That's what the executives are for.
Right.
Everybody else, they've just got to do their part. They've got to like be on the factory line, whatever it is they've got to do.
Right.
You can't have people standing up because that could lead to
Revolt.
revolution.
Yeah.
And the game is designed to be kind of a counterpart to the society. All these men together accomplishing this one goal.
Right.
If one guy starts standing out, that becomes a problem because he
Right.
could end up becoming that revolutionary, that hero.
Which Jonathan E. is becoming in the film.
Yeah. The idea, because he's been playing for 10 years.
Right, which is a long time, too.
The game is structured so that nobody can last that long.
Right,
I mean,
yeah.
it's a brutal, brutal game.
Right.
But he's been so amazing that he's gone that long.
Right.
That's why they've got to stop him at this point.
Right.
Yeah.
Kind of Christ connotations a little bit.
Oh, very much so.
Yeah?
Yeah, very much so. Now, along with that, let's talk about Jonathan E.'s arc.
Okay.
What are you thinking there? It seems like the crisis moment happens early on,
Right.
When he finds out that he's supposed to retire.
Right, yeah.
And that seems to be the moment when he starts questioning things. Because he's probably never done that before.
It doesn't seem so.
He loves the game.
Right.
He lives for that game.
He was born for it, basically.
He was born for it.
Yeah.
And that is the thing that has meaning for him.
Right.
When he's not doing that, he's hanging out with his mistress and he regrets losing his wife, but as long as he has a game, he can keep going.
Right.
Now that thing is going to be taken away from him.
Yep.
So then he starts asking questions. The central question is, well, why am I being asked to retire?
Uh-huh.
But that leads to corollaries. Well, one, what is this game all about?
Right.
What is my purpose? What
Yep.
am I living for, right?
Yeah, he starts questioning everything.
There is that really, really interesting scene when they're getting the massages
Oh, yeah.
in Tokyo,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
a woman's lying on top of Moon Pie's back.
Yeah. And then he lies on top of her or whatever.
Yeah,
It's some
yeah.
weird, threesome thing going on.
And Jonathan E. says, I've been caressed, I've been beaten up in the arena, but none of those things mean anything.
Anymore, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're the same sort of sensation.
Right.
It's like he realized that he's not feeling anything inside, right?
Right.
And then when Moon Pie is brain dead, Jonathan E. is saying, well, he's trying to understand where Moon Pie's kind of consciousness is. He says that even a plant will turn towards the sun.
The light, yeah.
It feels some life.
Right.
And that makes an interesting parallel with that previous scene where they're destroying the trees, right?
Right, yeah. Yeah.
Because they're destroying life there.
Right.
And here he's kind of understanding kind of the delicacy of life.
Yeah.
I think that could be taken in a number of ways. It could be part of his sort of awakening.
I think so.
Right? Yeah,
I
understanding
definitely think so, yeah.
how precious life is.
That he can't take moon pies at this point.
Exactly.
He says,
yeah.
you'll be here with your heart pumping long after I'm gone, or whatever
Yeah.
he says.
Yeah,
Something
he says
to
you're
that-
like a god.
Yeah, right.
Right?
Which
Yeah.
is weird.
But
Which is very
it's
strange.
weird.
The weird future
The fu-
hospital bed,
yeah,
with
yeah.
the clear dome and all this.
Yeah, the future bubble boy bed.
Yeah, right, exactly.
And then Ella shows up,
Right.
right? He still feels something for her. But then they have a conversation. They talk about this choice between comfort and freedom.
Yeah.
Like you give up freedom to the corporations and everything's taken care of.
Right.
You probably work for this corporation all your life and you get a pension, you're fed and everything, there's entertainment.
Well, they
You get
even
the
offer
game.
him that big retirement package
Yeah,
they turned
yeah,
down.
exactly. Yeah, but you have no individual choice.
Right.
Even someone on the top like Jonathan, he can't even keep his wife.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, she can
Right.
just be taken away from
Which
him.
she was, yeah.
Yeah.
And then it's more the idea of getting her back than it is actually getting
Yeah,
her back
yeah.
at the end.
And that's where he makes, I think, the most crucial decision.
Yeah.
His comfort with her is not worth giving up his freedom.
His freedom, right.
Freedom means I'm going to defy the corporation. I'm going to play this one last game. That is, I think, the big choice that kind of defines him. After this whole process that he's gone through, all these things that have happened, he's choosing freedom.
Yeah.
And he does that in the last game.
Right.
And then he has a crucial moment where he could beat that player in the head with the ball.
With the ball, yeah.
But again, he chooses life.
Yeah.
He says, no, I'm going to finish this game, and I'm going to defy the corporation and do this thing.
Because of what he's gone through.
Exactly. Okay, is it a victory? I mean,
It's a good question.
it's an existential victory.
Yeah, it is more for him
It's
personally.
more for him.
It's personal
It's- yeah,
victory.
Yeah, because
Small victory,
the
maybe?
corporation's going to
Right.
take him out.
Yeah.
Obviously.
When he's skating around at the end.
We know how his life ends.
Right.
He's going to be in an accident. Something's going to happen
Yeah.
to him. They're not going to let him get away with it. But just this moment, he himself has achieved a victory.
Right.
And maybe the fact that this has been flashed to screens all over the world,
Yeah, right.
that is that thread of just a seed of maybe revolution.
Right, right.
That an
Yeah.
individual can rise above. It's an interesting arc,
It
and
is.
thematically it fits in with what was going on in a lot of movies in the 70s,
Yeah.
which was a lot of just individual against society.
Right,
Because this is
right.
coming off the 60s, and a lot of directors had that in mind.
Also the rise of big corporations.
Well, that's another thing we have to get into.
Yeah.
Now, this movie came out before Network,
Right.
Remember Ned Beatty's scene in Network?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
That
yeah.
monologue. There is
Exactly.
no America.
Right.
There is only AT&T and DuPont DuPont and IBM, right?
Yeah.
This is the same kind of. I mean, this is the natural extension of that.
Right. Yeah.
Like
no,
they were
it's true.
very, very much aware of that
Yeah.
as a thing that could happen.
And here we are.
Well, let's talk about that.
You
How
know.
prescient is this movie? Because now, I don't think they could have predicted in the 70s that single corporations could own
The
so
entire
much.
planet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 I mean, Exxon Mobil merged, looking airlines. Disney owns Marvel and Lucasfilm, and what the hell else
Jim
do they
Henson.
own? Yeah, what? You can't even keep track anymore.
I know.
Like-
I know. It's crazy.
In this movie, they've gotten to the point where they don't even bother having names anymore. It's just energy.
Yeah,
Because
right.
you own all energy.
Right.
All oil, electricity, everything. And if it keeps going the way it's going, hey,
Here we are.
Yeah,
yeah.
you,
right.
we could
We
get
rollerball.
there. This concept that the corporations control everything. Well, there are some who might say that we are pretty much there.
Yeah.
Given how much money corporations put into lobbying, especially in this country,
I would say so.
and how much sway they have over politics, people
Right.
might argue that we have a democracy in name only, that really it's corporate ownership of everything. You
Right,
know?
right.
And Rollerball is just like, well, we're not pretending anymore.
Right,
We
yeah.
actually just do own everything.
Right, right.
Yeah.
No, it's true. And I mean, pretty much so with society today. People don't question too much.
No.
Or a lot of people will say, really, Disney doesn't own all that, do they?
Yeah.
But, yeah, people don't question or turn a blind eye to it.
Yeah.
They just, say, oh, well, that's just the way it is, right?
Yeah, there's a current debate now where people are willingly giving up their information to Google and Facebook, and like,
Yeah.
well, I get cool shit for it, so I'll give up my privacy and my freedom and stuff.
Right, no thanks.
You keep this going, and at some point, where are we going to be? It's Rollerball,
I
right?
think it's
mean, that's-
happening, and we don't even know it.
exactly.
We don't even realize.
I think this movie is pretty scarily prescient.
Yeah.
Like, out of all the movies we've seen,
Yeah.
this is one that comes really, really scarily close
Yeah, very much
to what
so.
we've actually got going on right now.
Right, yeah.
Right? It's
yeah.
just, it's unsettling.
It is,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Now, in terms of sports, so Jewison saw some things going on at the time.
Uh-huh.
Apparently, this is from the commentary track on the DVD. He saw a hockey, I think it was an advertisement, and it basically just showed a bunch of guys beating the hell out of each other.
Yeah.
He's like, okay, they're just selling violence.
Yeah, yeah.
That's where he got the idea for that sizzle reel.
Okay.
Yeah, like this is
That makes sense.
already kind of happening.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, we're not there yet.
Not
If-
quite.
If 9 players died in a single game, that game would get shut down.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. But it is interesting, and he said that at that time players were only starting to get like really ridiculous salaries.
Right, right.
At that time, I don't think a player could own a ranch like Jonathan Eve does in the movie.
Right.
But they sure as hell do now.
They do now, yeah.
Yeah, now-
they own their own jets and
Oh,
what
exactly.
have you.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. I mean, that has
So,
definitely
yeah.
come true. Yeah.
These exorbitant salaries for sports and celebrities, period.
Yeah.
Making millions and millions of dollars
Yeah, exactly.
on movies and games and what have you.
Yeah.
It's something. It is.
I think there's a lot of just interesting things happening in this movie.
Well, also, I mean, the byline on the poster,
Yeah.
the original poster, it says, in the not-so-distant future, wars will no longer exist, but there will be rollerball. It's quite a poster tagline.
The game itself, I think the action, shooting, and editing of
Yeah,
the game,
yeah.
I think it's fantastic.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Right?
It is.
I think it's really
Well done.
especially for the time. It's not shot like a sports game usually is.
Right.
Like the cameras are kind of outside. I mean, he had guys on skates.
Yeah,
going
in the
around-
ring.
Yeah, yeah. And you can feel it. I think you feel like every blow, and you get the flow of the game. You find out pretty quickly how the game is played.
Right.
I mean, I'm shaky on some of the rules.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Yeah, exactly.
there's hardly any rules anymore, so
Right.
what does that matter? But I think you get a really good sense of it. I think he really did a good job filming it that way.
Right, instead of audience or spectator view.
Yeah, exactly.
But when
yeah.
you do watch televised sports, you kind of get that, like you said, an overhead shot or something, or
yeah,
what
yeah,
have you,
uh-huh.
you know?
Yeah, this puts you inside the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're there with Jonathan E. and the rest.
Right.
Yeah, doing this thing.
It's always funny, once again, though, it's the future or the not-so-distant future,
Mm-hmm.
but so much of it still feels like the 70s.
Well, that's true.
Their gear, their uniforms are basically football uniforms
Yeah.
with 70s roller skates.
Yep.
You know,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
four
yeah.
wheels, not,
Yeah.
the uniblades or what have you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They do the same thing that they always do, which is choosing really futuristic-looking locations.
Yeah, yeah.
Like the Energy Corporation headquarters was a building in Munich, I believe. It was a BMW building, which was the most kind of advanced-looking building that they could find.
Right.
But, looking back on it now, it's like, yeah, that's kind of 70s architecture.
Yeah. And the leisure jackets.
Yeah.
The bolero hat. The
I
beige.
love his hat.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
do like the
He
hat.
kept giving it away in the movie. kept setting it down. He gave it to the doctor at one point, threw it to the crowd.
Apparently, James Caan he did ride horses.
Oh, yeah,
like
you could tell.
Yeah, so he kind of wanted that in there, right? Like
Okay.
he liked the idea that he was kind of a Houston cowboy.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
which is a cool little thing.
Yeah.
But two things that never age well in a science fiction movie.
And?
One, pop music.
Right.
As we talked about
the future music.
Norman Jewison did a smart thing by using classical music, right?
Yeah.
Because that doesn't age, obviously. You know, you've
Right.
got the Toccata and Fugue, which is a great opening.
Right.
So that's kind of like a spooky thing going on. And a couple other classical pieces. But then you've got the groovy kind of dance music.
Right. A little funky.
The other thing that never ages well, computers.
Oh, yeah.
That scene at Geneva. Okay, so the computer is liquid-based,
Right.
which is kind of futuristic, right?
Uh-huh.
But you still interface with punch cards and tapes.
Right. Right, exactly.
Right.
Even the wall screens, the Trivision.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
pops in something that looks like an 8-track tape
Yeah.
into the wall.
Yeah. That stuff it's kind of hokey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one thing that kind of came true from this movie, the flat screen TVs mounted on the wall.
Oh yeah, and
you know,
and multiple screens
multiple
too. So you
screens.
could watch. Yeah.
Right.
Have a lot of stuff going on at the same time.
yeah, multiple flat screen TVs
Yeah.
on the wall. Yeah, future stuff in the movie. He said weird dancing once again. In the future, everybody dances weird.
Yeah. Why is that?
Why, you don't see anybody really cutting up a rug or anything.
Nope.
Cutting a rug. They're just standing there, like I said, with their heads together, their palms together, and just swaying back and forth.
Yeah.
Well, laser gun.
Yeah.
That's a good future thing all the time.
Oh yeah,
you
the
know?
incendiary weapon
Yeah.
thing. Yeah, that was really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But not
yeah.
so future stuff in the movie. Weird dancing. Old school roller skate.
Yeah.
Football helmets.
One thing Jewison kept saying on the commentary track is if he had known about rollerblading,
Yeah.
he would have totally used that.
Oh, I'm
but
sure, yeah.
No,
Right.
at the time.
It wasn't available then.
I mean, I think they do a decent job of coming up with kind of a futuristic style sport.
Right.
Like I like the fact that the ball is like shot out of essentially a cannon.
It's like a pinball machine, actually.
Yeah, and
you
it's
know?
just like,
Yeah.
you just got to somehow grab it off the track, and you can't do it too soon, otherwise it's gonna.
Rip your arm off,
Yeah,
rip your
yeah,
hand off.
yeah.
And it weighs something crazy, like he drops it,
Yeah.
and it's boom, on
Yeah,
the rink.
big thud. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's like a magnetic kind of ring that you kind of just like slot
The goal,
into.
yeah.
Yeah. The spectators' outfits, the extras, they didn't look so good.
Right.
They looked very, very 70s. Yes.
Well, they
Especially-
had so many extras. I mean, they couldn't costume all of them
Yeah,
in future
yeah,
type
it would
clothing.
have been tough. Yeah,
Yeah.
the hairstyles and everything, they look like a 70s
Right.
crowd.
Well, speaking of costumes, did you also notice with James Caan, he starts out in the kind of off-white, eggshell white, beige leisure suit.
Yeah.
Then as it goes along, he starts wearing darker colors. Like by the end, he's
Okay.
wearing a black leisure suit.
I didn't notice
Yeah,
that.
his outfits change to reflect.
So what do you think that's going to signify?
I think it's reflecting his change in personality, his
Yeah,
art.
okay. Well, what is it saying? From light to dark.
Well, I mean, you would think
He
him
gets
turning
evil.
evil, right?
Well,
you
it's
know,
like Luke
he went to
Skywalker,
the dark
like
side, yeah.
White, then gray, then black, in the
black.
last movie. But
Right.
Yeah. Huh.
So I found that interesting, and it was the
Yeah,
first time I
didn't
noticed
notice
that
yeah.
watching it last time.
No, good call. I never noticed that.
Yeah, so it's kind of wild.
Huh.
He's moving away from who he was.
Right. Yeah, he is
And he's
becoming a
not
different person.
dressing like everybody else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, because everybody on the team, when they're off, they all dress in the same outfits,
Well,
pretty much.
do the executives generally wear dark colors?
Gray.
Gray. Okay, so John Houseman's wearing gray.
Yeah.
Okay.
He says
All
if
right.
you're an executive, you get to make decisions and wear a gray suit. He makes it
Okay.
a point to say that in the
Okay.
movie in the beginning when he's in the locker room. with
Yeah,
the
yeah,
guys.
yeah. When he slips moon pie something, a reefer or
A
something.
pill. Yeah. Once again, not so future in the movie.
No,
Pills
no.
to get high.
What, corporate execs getting high? Yeah, that never happens.
Yeah, right.
So I want to talk about some of the actors. First up, of course, James Caan,
James Caan.
who, as everybody knows, legendary Sonny Corleone
Oh yeah.
in the original Godfather, and another role that we really like, another movie, James Caan. You know what I'm-
Alienation. I like Alienation.
But you know what I'm talking about.
What are you talking about? Besides Godfather and
Yeah.
Rollerball.
Yeah, iconic role.
Iconic
James
role.
Caan.
I'm drawing a blank.
Really?
Yeah.
Thief.
Oh fuck.
Yeah.
I totally blanked out on that one. And we love Michael Mann. I love that movie.
He
yeah.
is a great.
Oh man,
yeah,
I
that's-
can't believe I blanked out on
That's one of my favorite roles for him.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, you talk about another great arc for the character.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Almost kind of similar to this a little bit, Thief, when you think about it.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I think his performance in this movie is really interesting because he plays it really subdued.
Yeah.
You notice that?
He speaks very low in the film
Yeah,
for
like
the most part
he's
of it.
really, but his character is super aggressive as a player.
As a player.
right? But off the field, he's held back.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if that's a character choice or a director's choice, but I'm wondering about kind of the effect
Right.
that has. And what I kind of get from it is he's initially kind of quiet about questioning these things.
Yeah.
Because he knows he's not supposed to.
Right.
Like in the first interview with Mr. Bartholomew, he's kind of very meekly resisting the whole concept.
Yeah,
Because
he is.
he's not going to be forward about it.
And the line
right?
he says that I really like, and he almost mumbles it,
Yeah.
is, I don't mean to resist, I'm just trying to understand.
Yes, exactly.
It's a great line.
Yeah, it's a very,
And he,
very
like
good
you said,
line.
he
yeah.
delivers it meekly.
Yeah, it's really, really interesting.
And even the way he's sitting, he's kind of
Yeah.
slouched back.
And we know he can play aggressive, obviously Sonny Corleone,
Right.
who's the hothead of the movie.
Right.
So he can do it, but he deliberately plays it back.
Yeah.
It has a really interesting effect.
Interesting
It's
juxtaposition
the
between
contrast.
his two,
but
his
it's-
two sides, his two personalities.
It's like
almost.
he really lives on that ring,
yeah,
is what happens.
right. That's where he really shines.
Yeah. I think it's a really good performance. Like, the more I've seen the movie, the more nuances I get from what he's doing.
Oh, it's absolutely solid.
Yeah. Jewison, he's a real director.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh,
he's
yeah.
a real deal. Some of his credits, big ones I pulled out, and Justice for All, Moonstruck later on. Before this movie, he had done Jesus Christ Superstar and Fiddler on the Roof.
Wow, he's all over the place.
all over the place.
Yeah.
But he took, on the commentary track, he says he took this just as a movie.
Yeah.
He's making a real movie. He doesn't think of it as like, oh, I'm just doing like a silly sci-fi
Science
movie.
fiction movie,
It's
right?
like, no, I'm making a real movie with ideas.
Right.
And real characters. And I think that really comes across. In fact,
Otherwise, I don't think he could have gotten James Caan, to be honest with you.
I don't think so.
James Caan was really big around
Yeah.
this time.
Oh, yeah.
He was A-list actor.
I spoke with my brother-in-law, who's a bit older than I am, than both of us, about this movie, telling him that we're going to do it. And he mentioned that he remembers when it came out. He was a kid then, of course.
Yeah.
He said that there was a lot of excitement in his school, because they were all kids. They were
Yeah.
like, oh my God, this movie looks awesome.
Sure.
But there was a lot of disappointment, because they expected like a full-on total action movie throughout.
Right.
And it's like, what, there's only 3 games?
Yeah.
And it's mostly people like talking and
Right.
just sitting around weird outfits?
Right.
It seemed like there was a lot of backlash at the time.
Right,
But
right.
I think it's an incredible movie.
Oh, there's that other scene, too, when he walks into Bartholomew's office with the weird glass curtain things.
Oh, and he cuts himself?
Yeah.
The guy's bashed up on the
Yeah,
ring when he
right.
plays. And he cuts himself with a simple
Basically gets a
this
paper cut.
decoration.
Yeah. And he kind of whimpers about it for a second.
Yeah.
To show, once again, when he's off the rink,
Yeah.
he's a little more timid and
And
meek.
he's the submissive person in this
Right.
situation. But at the end, he faces Mr. Bartholomew
Yeah.
from the ring, right?
Yeah.
That's again the arc where
Right.
he's risen up.
Yeah.
It's like Gladiator.
Yeah.
The same sort of thing.
Then he skates around the rink defiantly at the end.
Yeah,
While everybody's
yeah.
chanting his
Jonathan,
name.
Jonathan, yeah,
Everybody's chanting his name.
And the final frames are freeze frames, again,
Yeah.
a common 70s technique we talked about before.
Right.
But just on him, like triumphant.
Right, like
yeah.
3 of them, 3 shots
Yeah,
that get
yeah,
closer
yeah.
and closer to
Yeah.
a tight close-up.
Yeah, exactly.
And then
yeah,
it's kind of
yeah.
almost pixelated-ish,
Yeah, in that
Yeah.
kind of way that they had to
Weird
do back then.
70s
because-
way,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah, very contrast. Like, heavily saturated, like orange and... It's orange and black, I believe.
Yeah.
The final shot.
Uh-huh, yeah.
Which could also say this is the end for him, period, like you were saying
Oh, yeah,
earlier.
yeah.
He's not going to make it. That's why he skates around defiantly also, like,
He goes out,
fuck it,
he's
you're
going to go out in triumph.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're going to take me out anyway, so...
Yeah.
I did exactly what you told me not to do.
Yep.
So, fuck you.
Exactly. Yeah.
Here we go again with the future music.
Nice. So other actors, John Houseman, as you remember.
John Houseman.
What else has he been in?
Oh, he was in tons and tons
Tons
of
of
things.
He always
yeah.
playing that guy,
Yeah.
basically. Yeah.
Jonathan E. He's got that voice that... I think
Yeah.
he even did so many voiceovers and things, too.
Probably.
In the
He's got
70s and
that
80s.
voice. Yeah.
I think he was on a bunch of TV shows, too, later in the 80s.
Yeah.
Sitcoms and things like
some,
this.
Yeah, some that I just feel like he was one of those guys that you saw everywhere. I just can't remember where.
Right.
Maude Adams,
Bond Girl.
of course, yes, from
Octopussy?
Man with the Golden Gun.
Man with the Golden Gun.
I think just before this movie came out. I think, if I'm remembering correctly.
Right.
But yeah.
So who was in Octopussy?
Yeah, it was her.
It was
but
her
that
too,
was,
right?
81.
So she was
So it was later.
Twice.
She was one of the
Bond Girl
few
twice.
who was Bond Girl twice.
Okay, 'cause I thought so, yeah.
Yeah, true, yeah. Pamela Hensley is the first mistress.
Right.
And she ended up on Buck Rogers,
Oh,
right?
but yep. Buck Rogers in the 21st century. Once
Yeah.
again, weird dancing.
Yeah, exactly.
The weird future disco dancing in Buck
Where they
Rogers.
have these, like, weird silver balls that are, like, kind of pressing together.
Yeah.
And of course, Joel Gerard's like, no, I'm a rock and roll guy. And he basically teaches her how to rock and roll.
Yeah, right.
He teaches this band how to boogie woogie. Like in one
terrible.
of the most a scene I loved when I was like 7 years old.
Right.
But
now it's kind of you kind of wince like,
put it
oh,
mildly,
man.
exactly.
He's over there
yeah.
shaking his ass and everything. Then everybody, of course, gets into it
Yeah.
with their weird future interpretation of disco dancing.
Yeah. Brief comment on the screenplay. This is written by William Harrison, who wrote the original short story.
Rollerball Murder.
Have you read it?
No, I have not.
It's available online.
Okay.
It's worth a read.
Yeah.
It's essentially, it's very close to, it feels like an outline to the movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Because he ended up writing the screenplay, the two things are very close.
Right.
Because, he's not going to, ignore his own short story.
When did he write the short story? Because this came out in 75. So.
Yeah, 75. I think it came out in Esquire or maybe Playboy, one of those men's magazines. I don't remember exactly.
Okay.
But it's a really short read, and it's not. There's not much you'd get out of that you don't get in the movie.
Okay.
The movie really kind of fills out what is kind of barely in the short story.
Gotcha.
But there is one great line in the story that I'll read to you. They'll change the rules until we skate on a slick of blood.
Nice.
Yeah, right?
Nice.
Yeah, that kind of just says it all. All right, I think we're going to come to a segment that we call Max's Bits.
Max's Bits!
Okay. I've put out a lot of my bits already, but I got...
Your bits are all over the place.
So the announcer for the games, right?
Right.
Apparently, Norman Jewison had to find a hockey game announcer because he was the only guy who could announce something this fast.
Right.
Because it's a super fast game. But you notice you hear none of it during the final game.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah.
That's very true.
Now, why do you think they'd make that choice?
That's an interesting question. Well, the rules have changed.
I think part of it is you know the rules by now.
Right.
So you don't need anybody talking over it.
Right.
But I think it's to just make sure the visuals stand out.
Oh, you mean filmmaking-wise?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'll go with that.
Yeah.
I thought you meant in the movie, in that world.
I think in the world, probably there still is an announcer.
Okay,
but
we're
just not hearing it.
Right, as the audience
because
of the film.
I think he's going for pure film, pure visuals at that point.
Yeah.
No music, no talking. It's just this brutality playing out on the field.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's minimal said.
Yeah.
Besides maybe the coaches.
Crunching of heads, basically.
Right. Yeah.
Another little bit on that same vein. Norman Jewison, he received fan mail from people saying that they're going to create their own rollerball rinks.
Really?
Start
Oh,
up
God.
amateur leagues.
Oh, no.
And he was, of course, horrified at the concept.
Yeah,
because he made this movie to say, no, this is
This
bad
is,
thing to
right,
do.
This is not where we should go
Yeah,
as a society.
yeah.
We should not go here.
But people are going to go that way.
It's the same thing when Fight Club came out.
Yeah,
I told
yeah.
You where I worked, I said, I'm going to start Fight Club. And guys were behind me. I was joking, but they were like, yeah, I'm down for Fight Club. Let's do it.
That's the thing, an action movie, it's going to glorify the thing that you're trying to condemn.
I think people kind of missed the mark a little bit, too, by glorifying the violence. You know?
That-
it's glorified
yeah.
for a reason to show how horrific it is now in the future.
You want to play a game where only one man survives? You freaking kidding me?
No, thank you. No, thanks.
It happens with war movies as well.
Yeah, right.
You know, like
Right.
they're meant to condemn war, but they end up as recruiting films.
Right.
You know? Yeah.
Right. Well, like we said, too, with this movie, there's no war in the future.
There's no war. There's only rollerball.
There's only
yeah.
rollerball.
There had been corporate wars.
Yeah, right.
Right.
They said corporate wars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
right.
now the corporations all kind of have to work together.
Right.
Because, okay, so if you're the energy corporation, that's great. Everybody needs your energy.
Right.
But you also need food corporation, because
Right.
otherwise your worker's going to starve.
Right.
Right?
Yeah,
If you're a
yeah,
food
yeah.
corporation, you need transportation to get your food to market.
Right.
And everybody needs communication. It's like symbiotic.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
all need each other.
Right.
In this kind of like connected world. But they all rule it. Like nobody else has any choice or freedom for
Right.
anything.
Right. No, it's true.
Yeah, yeah.
Forced into a corner. Once
Exactly.
again, kind of like today.
Yeah.
If you
yeah,
want
yeah.
certain things, you only got so many choices. There's
Yeah.
only so
Yeah,
many
yeah.
companies that you can go to.
Yeah.
You know.
And then you
so-
find out the same companies own like all of these
All
different
of them.
stores,
Right.
basically. Yeah.
No, it's true.
Yeah.
Oh, and the other thing, they don't have a national anthem. It's the
It's a
corporate
corporate anthem. Yeah.
corporate anthem at the
And
beginning
it's
of the
like
game.
the most boring music you've
Yeah.
ever heard, right?
Right. Yeah.
And no one's paying attention.
Jonathan's standing there hitting his leg.
Yeah.
With
yeah.
a clenched fist.
And that's like one of my most like vivid images from the movie.
Yeah.
Banging that spiked fist against his leg.
Right.
Like he's ready to go.
Well, I mean, you look at the original movie poster and the DVD box.
is the-
What's featured? It's not
Yep.
necessarily James Caan's face
Yeah,
in the painting. It's the fist.
Yeah.
With even more accentuated spikes.
Spikes, yeah. And at one point, he scratches Daphne's face with it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Because he's found out that she's a spy.
She's a spy, yeah.
It's like he's teetering on the edge. He could go full violent outside the ring.
Right, yeah.
You know,
That's
like
the first time you see that outside of the ring.
He could have
from him.
messed her up, but
Yeah.
then he holds back.
He double thinks.
Yeah.
Stops himself.
All right, we got to do a metal moment.
Metal moment!
That's right. Okay, what is the most metal moment in this movie?
Oh, let me think. Most metal. There's so many.
There's some good ones,
There's
right?
so many. I mean, in the rink, all of the shots in the rink were great. But I'd have to go the final game. The entire final game.
Yeah, the whole
is
thing. Yeah,
metal moment.
anything that really stands out for you?
Well, just the way he was taking some of the players out.
Yeah.
I mean, when he took the last biker out,
Yeah.
it was pretty vicious.
Oh, yeah.
He went head on at him
Yeah.
and just dove into him. That was pretty metal. What about you?
I think the second game, which would be a Houston-Tokyo game,
Tokyo.
is that the one where the ball comes out and hits a guy in the head?
Yeah, it crushes his
That
skull.
was
Yeah.
was brutal, and then it takes out a motorcycle too.
That's
later
right,
on.
right, yeah.
And the
Flips
motorcycle
it.
catches on fire.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
pretty metal. It's true. Pretty metal indeed.
Yeah, I mean these are super intense.
Yeah.
Action shots,
Yeah.
and I like how he varies it. Shooting like a movie with a sports game, it can get really repetitive. I
Yeah,
mean,
of course.
watching a sporting event gets repetitive,
Right.
obviously, right? But he introduces enough different sorts of elements to always keep it interesting.
Yeah, I'll go with that
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah.
He did a great job with this film. Now, is this the only action or sci-fi film that he's done? Because I know you mentioned some of his other credits.
Yeah, in his IMDb credits, I couldn't find anything else that was really in this kind of genre.
Right.
But
Okay.
he treated it like I'm making a movie.
Yeah.
It happens to have these elements, so I'm going to do them right.
Right.
But I'm making a real movie with real ideas. And
Well,
stuff.
with certain
Yeah.
dystopian sci-fi films of the 70s, they were like that.
Exactly.
They
yeah.
were crafted that way. You
Yeah.
still had your B movies.
Of course, yeah.
Some of the more upscale films, the A films, so
Yeah.
to speak, quote unquote,
Yeah.
they were taken more seriously.
Yep.
I mean, the
Yeah,
director of Logan's Run, the director of Soylent Green,
Yeah.
they
yeah,
all took
these
it
are
very
real
seriously.
deal directors. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so you got some bits for me?
All right, let's see here. The funny thing that Bartholomew says to Moon Pie
Yeah.
when they're in the locker room, you rolled, you really rolled.
Yeah.
What does that mean, dude?
It all sounds like an old guy trying to sound hip.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what he was, basically.
Yeah.
Doing back there.
Oh, you kids and your rolling that you do.
You're rollerballing. There's a joke in there. But he says also that the executives, when they dream of being rollerballers.
Yeah.
And smashing in faces and what have you, you know?
And then there's a later scene where he's talking to executives, and he's just like, yeah, that's just a brutal game.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's the real him.
That's what he really feels.
He really looks down on it,
Yeah.
basically. Yeah, he's just trying to be one of the guys in that locker room scene.
Right.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
motivational.
Exactly.
Because
yeah.
it's money.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
money.
That's why he is where he is.
Yeah.
He can do that kind of thing.
Oh, I believe James Caan, before he was an actor, was a boxer, wasn't he?
Was he?
He's got that permanent scar on his
Yeah?
nose. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I think he was a boxer.
Okay.
If I remember correctly. But once again, if you guys know, let us know.
Yeah, I mean, he has a great physicality.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously. Like, he's really cut out to play like an athlete.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Wasn't he in another sports movie? Am I misremembering this? Like a
Brian's song?
football movie, right?
Yeah, I think it was Brian's
Yeah,
song.
that sounds familiar
Yeah.
to me. Yeah, like
Yeah, I whipped that out of my ass because I haven't seen that in, I don't know, forever.
Yeah,
I couldn't remember Thief, but I remember that.
but he's
All right.
he's got a great physicality, but he's also a real actor, so he's
Yeah.
really kind of cut out for these sorts of roles.
Oh, yeah, yeah, the racist comments up from Moon Pie about
Yeah.
the Japanese players.
Yeah,
Oh, they're a bunch of little guys.
and some of that he did like on tape, right?
Yeah,
With
yeah.
the reporters. So you got to wonder, why are they targeting you
Right.
in that game?
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
Moon
yeah.
Pie, like what the fuck? Yeah,
Well, also the coach that comes in to give them pointers.
yeah.
They just don't listen to him because once again he's Asian,
Exactly,
Japanese.
yeah.
They just start chanting Houston, Houston, and
Yeah,
talk right
yeah.
over him.
Yeah, so there is still that kind of tribal mentality.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Speaking of which, in terms of sports, I did not intend this, but we happened to be recording this one during the World Cup.
Yeah, which is
Soccer
right.
World
Yeah,
Cup. In fact, Walt, it shows my dedication to this podcast that we are doing this while there is a game on. If you ever had reason to doubt, that should tell you right here.
yeah, that's you. I wouldn't be that. You know that. I don't watch televised sports. So.
But this is when that kind of tribal identity thing really, really comes out.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh, yeah.
international thing when people are just insanely obsessed with this game. You feel that. You feel that, like, right now, just in the streets. You know,
Right.
you walk around here, you go by any bar, what are people watching?
Oh, yeah.
They're fixated on this thing.
Oh, yeah.
And that's rollerball, too.
Yeah. Even bars that don't normally have televisions have televisions today.
There are scenes during the last game where they show, like, empty cities. Like,
Right, yeah.
Brasilia and some
Yeah.
others. They just show that everybody's watching this game
Everybody's
right now.
watching the
The
game.
entire world, yeah.
Yeah.
That's happening.
That's something.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, another actor I don't want to forget to mention is Ralph Richardson.
Oh, yeah.
works
he
in the
was,
lab.
That's right. He was
Time
the
Bandits.
kooky computer guy.
Yeah, yeah.
Who kicks the computer.
Right. To make it work. In the future, that still works. You got to pull a
You-
Fonz on it.
Oh, you big ninny, you blasted machine, you.
Dun. Yeah, he was in Time Bandits and remember
Yeah.
Dragon Slayer?
Yeah,
Yeah, he was in
and
Dragon
a
Slayer.
lot of other stuff.
Oh,
Yeah, that's
tons
right.
and
Yeah,
tons and
yeah.
tons
He
of
was.
things.
Yeah, that was an interesting cameo. All right, got any more?
But kicking the computer.
Yeah, of course, that's gonna work.
The actor that played Cletus is Moses Gunn from Shaft.
Okay, all right.
He was
yeah,
also
yeah,
in
yeah.
Shaft, I should say.
Okay, cool. Yeah, there's that great scene where Jonathan's having dinner with his mistress.
Yeah.
And Cletus comes along for the ride.
Which is like, what?
Dinner by firelight,
Cockblock.
which, well, for whom? It's more.
Yeah, right.
I don't know if it's a cock block or the other kind of block, because she's just like,
She gets
what the
frustrated.
fuck is he doing here? And she takes off.
Right.
It's like he was done with her. Jonathan
Yeah.
wanted her gone.
Yeah. Yeah, he had had enough, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, then he starts asking Cletus about the game, asking questions about it, and Cletus gets very, very uptight and stands up. Like, they're lounging around, he stands up very rigidly,
Yeah.
very uncomfortable, and Jonathan E. has to tell him, calm down, sit down, relax. It's almost like he feels like they're being spied on, possibly.
Yeah.
Like,
Or-
they can hear us
exactly.
somehow.
Yeah, or just like, don't question things.
Right.
This is going to get you to a bad place. It's going to get you killed.
It's almost like
So
he
shut
wanted
up.
to leave.
Yeah.
As soon as he started talking about that.
Yeah.
It's almost like he wanted to get the hell out of there.
Oppression in this movie works in that weird kind of way. It's like
Right.
slight social pressure.
Yeah.
It's not full on, you question, the Gestapo comes by, hauls you off to
Right.
the concentration camp, right?
Right.
It's more like he goes to the library, he wants this information which is kind of forbidden, and she just smiles and says, oh, no, sorry, we don't have that.
And that's
Those
it,
books
yeah.
are gone.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
which is almost more unsettling, the whole fascism with a smiley face,
Yeah.
than just like the full-on kind,
Right.
It's an interesting vision,
Then you also
interesting
get the,
dystopian vision.
the peer pressure from everyone around him.
Yeah, nobody wants him to stand up.
Once again, Moon Pie says, "What
Yeah.
do you want with a book?
Yeah,
Why do you want a
yeah,
book?
why are you doing this? Yeah.
Who reads? Readers
Yeah,
for suckers."
Just fucking take drugs.
Yeah,
man.
right.
What's
Exactly.
wrong with you?
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, but he's starting to question everything and making everyone around him a little uncomfortable
Yeah.
because of it.
Because they don't like hearing that.
Yep.
Yeah, they want to just stay in their place. All right, so should we wrap this one up, Walt?
Oh, one last thing about
Yeah.
the living computer.
Yeah.
It just spouts corporate jargon instead of answering his questions.
Yeah, right.
It just
Yeah,
starts
yeah.
giving him corporate nonsense.
Again, it's that really weird kind of 70s style computer scene.
Yeah, once again, Logan's Run-ish, you know.
Yeah, like Star Trek.
Oh,
whatever.
yeah. Right. Yeah, it's really funny.
Does not compute. Yeah.
No sanctuary.
All right, so let's wrap this thing up.
All right.
What's our overall assessment of this movie?
Well, once again, I really like this movie.
Every time I watch this movie, I get more out of it.
Yeah,
Now,
absolutely.
partly it might be because our world resembles this world more,
Yeah,
inch by inch.
right.
But I also get more the shades of meaning, the character, the themes, and everything.
Oh, sure.
There's a lot going on in this movie, and it's
Yeah.
fun to watch too.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, from when I was a kid, I liked it. But now I
Yeah.
get a lot more out of it.
Yeah, exactly. Like
You know.
I enjoyed it when I was young,
Yeah,
and I think I got like the basics of it.
the basics.
But I've grown with it.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Understand a lot more about it now
Yeah.
than I did when
exactly.
I was younger.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a good dystopian film.
Yeah. Very, very solid.
Which leads to the suck factor in this.
Yep. What is the suck factor?
Scale of 1 to 10?
It's again that situation where life is pretty good
Yeah, if.
But-
there's a big but.
up until a certain point.
I was joking there,
you know?
There is the big but.
Like probably like you inherit whatever job, you just have to do that job.
Right.
You don't get a choice of jobs, probably.
Right.
You know,
Maybe you're just bred for it, too. You know what I mean? Like you're
I think
born
it's very
into
likely.
whatever
Like we don't learn much
profession.
about that, but the corporation is going to control you.
Yeah.
You can't like they can probably fire you at a whim.
Right.
You can't go looking for another job or
Right.
whatever. And it's just you're going to be in that slot the rest of your life.
All the corporate heads are older men.
Yeah.
You got one older woman, I believe. There's one woman
Yeah.
on the board for Energy Corp.
And they're they're mostly older white people,
Yeah.
but there's one
Woman, one black man.
and he's the one who hesitates.
Yeah,
Remember that?
yeah.
Is that interesting?
Yeah.
It's almost like that's a little subtle, like, nod for him being like, yeah, I know what oppression is about.
Yeah.
But still, I got to go along.
He's got to
You know
follow,
what I mean?
what they're doing, yeah.
Which is
He
an
can't go
interesting
against-
choice for that character.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's true. Yeah, very true.
Yeah. So what is the suck-ass factor?
Oh, like you said, if you're corporate or if you're a
We're just
non-thinking...
regular guys.
We're just regular dudes.
Yeah, workers. We're the guys screaming in the
As long as we
the
don't question
stands.
anything, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's all right.
Yeah.
So I would say, if you don't question the corporations,
Yeah.
the suck factor is low then. I'd say maybe, maybe a 5.
It's like a 5.
Around a 5. I'd go
Yeah,
50-50.
it's like a 5.
It's like half good, half bad, kind of.
Yeah.
Once you peel back the curtain,
That's the
then
thing.
you're in trouble.
Yep.
Then it's going
That
to really
is the
suck
thing.
hard for you.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
But yeah, I'd say it's a 50-50 thing. So I go 5.
That's pretty much there.
yeah.
Yeah.
You say so too?
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah. Cool. All right. So, are we up for the next one? Should we do the coin toss thing that we do? All right. Whose tosses it?
Who tossed last time? I can't remember. You won the last toss.
I won last toss.
for a roller ball.
Yeah.
I don't remember who flipped.
I
Yeah,
think,
you do it.
Yeah.
You
okay.
do it.
All right.
No big whoop.
Call it.
Heads.
It is tails, Walt.
There you go.
Yeah.
Your choice.
Okay. All right. Okay. Of course, I did not prepare for this. Okay. There's some big ones that we have not taken on yet.
Okay.
So I'm just I'm gonna go for one of those.
All right.
The
And
Matrix.
The Matrix.
The Matrix.
All right.
It's
cool.
about time, right?
Yeah. All right.
It's a touchstone. We've got to do it. The Matrix.
Sounds good to me.
Okay,
All right.
cool. All right. Okay, thank you for joining us, people. Next time we'll take on The Matrix. We are Useless Info Inc. You can find us on WordPress at uselessinfoinc.wordpress.com. We are on Google Play under The Future Sucks, and we have our own YouTube channel, and of course we're on Twitter. So get at us, comment, tweet at us, whatever you like.
I'm Walt.
I'm Max.
We'll see you next time.
Future Sucks.
The future sucks.